to see the three of them come out of it not only okay, but victorious, because this is an adventure and a half. Welcome back once again to another bookish review. Now today we are going to be talking about the manga Pokémon Adventures Book 1. If you do not want spoilers for this book, you can go ahead and leave now. I don't like spoilers either. Assuming all those that don't want spoilers are gone, let's get into this. We follow a young boy by the name of Red, who is from Pallet Town in the Hoenn region of the Pokemon world. And when we first meet Red, he already is well established with Pokemon and Pokemon battles, having grown up with a Poliwhirl that later evolves into a Poliwrath. In the manga, you don't have to be 10 years old to have a Pokemon. You can be much younger than that. Whether your Pokemon is given to you by a parent, a friend, or you catch it yourself, there does not seem to be an age limit in the manga of when you can have a Pokemon, which is why we already see Red with a Pokemon. Things change, however, when he meets Blue, Professor Oak's grandson, and finds out that he is on a mission to find out data about all the different Pokemon that exist in the world that they know of so far. So he goes to Professor Oak to get a Pokedex for himself because he too wants to go on this journey to discover more Pokemon. Having gotten his Pokedex and a Bulbasaur from Professor Oak, he then sets out on his journey with 2 Pokemon already in tow, none of which being Pikachu, which ends up being the 3rd Pokemon he gets down the line. So that's the first major difference you see from this manga to the anime. Pikachu is not his first Pokemon, and Pikachu doesn't even ride on his shoulder. He just kind of sits in his Pokeball like everything else. Speaking of Pokeballs, I found out a really cool detail that Pokeballs are transparent in the Pokemon universe. At first, I thought it was a clever way of the manga to show the readers what Pokemon is in what Pokeball, but no, you see Red interacting with his Pokemon even though they're in the Pokeballs. And that also explains how in the anime, people not only knew what Pokemon they were pulling, but also the Pokemon knew what was being said outside of the Pokeball. The Pokemon are fully aware and able to see the world around them even though they're in the Pokeball. I thought that was a nice touch and a good answer to how they know which Pokemon's in what Pokeball, because I've had that question for years. Going ahead, Red encounters Pokemon by the name of Mew, and these people named Team Rocket are after them. And let me tell you, this Team Rocket is nowhere near like the Team Rocket in the anime or the games. This Team Rocket is an actual life-threatening threat. They are willing to kill anyone that gets in their way to achieve the goal of creating the ultimate Pokemon in Mewtwo and controlling the Pokemon world. There was a section where Red and Blue were in Viridian City, and one of the gym leaders, Koga, had Blue mind controlled, and there were zombies involved with psychic abilities that were bringing dead Pokemon back to life to be used as weapons. And he threatened to behead Blue and Red, and he did not sugarcoat it. He said, "I will cut your friend's head off if you do not cooperate." And I'm like, these are not the Team Rocket I grew up with. Where was this in the anime? Because holy crap, I would have been so much more invested in the story if we got this Team Rocket and not the bumbling idiots that follow Ash around in the entire anime. Because they are legitimately ruthless in their goals. And there are 3 gym leaders: Koga, the ghost type, Sabrina the psychic, and Surge the electric. They are all under the control of Team Rocket and Giovanni, being 3 of the strongest members of Team Rocket. And you see Red and Blue work together and in spite of each other to take them down before they can get their goal of figuring out how to control and make Mewtwo out of Mew's DNA. Along the way, there are Pokemon casualties in this goal of Team Rocket. You have an Eevee that was experimented on and was made able to switch between Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon and Eevee at will because he was one of the prototypes of Team Rocket while trying to figure out this whole Pokemon combination thing. And it was so sad because, like, that's gotta hurt, forcing a Pokemon to evolve and change when they're not ready to do that for themselves. And then you see Team Rocket continue their goals by getting the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. And all along the line, Red and Blue are not intentionally working together, but they are working together. They're like, okay, we found ourselves in the same spot. These guys are bad. Let's take them out. You're my rival, but they need to be dealt with. It's the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of deal, I guess. Even though they're not technically enemies, they're just rivals. And on top of them doing that, you have this female character in green, once again, such an original name. But she is a shifty character. You don't really know her motives. She's a thief, she's a liar, she plays people to get what she wants, and you don't know her goal throughout any of this manga, but she always seems to be there to help when it's needed. Even though she is not above backstabbing the 2 of them as they continue on. And also, unlike in the anime, Brock and Misty do not travel with Red. They are beaten and he gets their badges, and Misty does go with him for a time, but they are not there through his journey. It's mostly Red alone. And I feel like that makes you more invested in his story because you get to see him and his Pokemon growing closer and how he bonds with specifically just them. He's like, I have my Pokemon, I don't need another friend on this journey, which I guess is a limitation of the anime because they wanted to have human characters for Ash to have to talk to other than his Pokemon that we, the audience, couldn't understand what they were saying. But in the manga, that didn't seem to be an issue. It was just Ash alone until he ran into either Blue or Green. And that was a nice touch. Red is a very compassionate trainer. He cares about his Pokemon's needs and is willing to do anything for them. And because of that, he often gets hurt because unlike in the anime, Pokemon battles are not strictly between the 2 Pokemon themselves. These trainers absolutely get caught up in the battle, getting attacks, having to dodge attacks. They work just as much with the Pokemon during the battles as they do training them. They're not just standing there giving orders, they're actually in the fight having to dodge attacks and everything else, which adds another level of danger because trainers are absolutely willing to use their Pokemon on people, especially Team Rocket, and they are not sugarcoating it about wanting to kill the main characters for getting in their way. There are genuine stakes in here that did not exist in the anime. You could argue they existed in the movie, but nowhere to the scale of the manga. I feel like they were able to tell a more grown-up kind of story and not hold back as much as they were in the anime. Because it's different when you're reading about that type of stuff than when you're trying to show it, I guess. I don't know what the limitations were, but Team Rocket in this genuinely had me on the edge of my seat because I'm like, they're willing to kill these guys, literally willing to kill them. What is going on? Like, I was reading this so fast. I mean, I read manga fast anyway, but I could not put it down because I wanted to see Team Rocket's evil scheme be foiled, and I wanted to see the 3 of them, even Green, though she was a bit obnoxious, I wanted to see the 3 of them come out of it not only okay, but victorious, because this is an adventure and a half, and I cannot wait to go into the next one, even though I think that this one wrapped up pretty nicely, except with a little cliffhanger at the end. But the 4th wing is going to be here sooner than it originally said it was, so I am going to go and continue reading a digital book I was reading called Celestial Academy. So I hope to see you next time.